Valentine, am I allowed to say that? Ian Valentine Burrell, who was driving a Mercedes around London with the number plate via B. Welcome via B, because there's so much to say about you and what you've done and what you do. You've been on telly with what was that pop group called?
Oh no, Eurogroove and Eurogroove and the dude, but I think it was Eurogroove you're talking about.
Yeah, Eurogroove
in the 90s.
But I remember when I think you were a teenager, you hired out a nightclub and you had a film crew there, and you was recording a live rap session.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
In Camden Town.
Oh right, yeah, in Camden Town. That was to try and do a video trailer for a song that I wrote back in the days. Yeah, wow. Brilliant. Yeah, I forgot about that completely. Smile and Enjoy Yourself, it was called. Yeah,
Smile and Enjoy Yourself. I've still got that somewhere. Yeah. Smile and Enjoy Yourself. So I could talk about so much, but all I'm going to say is I've known Ian apparently since he was 16 years old, and now that he's 21, that's quite a lot of time.
over 30 years. Over 4 years. It's about 4 years.
40 years.
Yeah, 40 years.
Wow, 40 years. And Ian, you've done so many amazing things. I just want to put it on record here on this podcast that although you're the global rum ambassador and you've been from Antarctica, you're in America every weekend, and you're back in the UK because you're on TV on Sundays. You can tell us about that. So it's amazing. And in all that packed schedule, you have said if you're around on this side of the continent that you'll be coming to Birmingham Reading Suite to join us.
100%, yeah. And
well, let me hand over, ladies and gentlemen, to Ian Burrell, the global rum ambassador. Take it away.
Cheers. Yeah, I thought he was going to ask me questions or something like that.
Oh, I can ask you questions, but I want to see how good your memory is.
Right, my memory is not all that great unless I've had a few drinks inside me. Then I just regurgitate about beer. Sorry, you were saying?
I'm going to cut you quickly. I'm going to help you out. I'm going to say, at about 16 or 17 years old, I met this young man because I wanted to play basketball in Tufnell Park, London.
Oh, right. Yeah, our first encounter.
He was running the team. We had some chief.
Well, that wasn't our first encounter. Our first meeting was at North London College. And being a youngster, because I played senior basketball before I played junior basketball because we didn't have a sports hall inside our school. So I started basketball fairly late, 14, 15. So I was just raw, very quick. Always thought I'd be the quickest on the court. So got introduced to North London College, but all the big guys are playing there, either ex-professional basketball players or people that play basketball at a decent level, or people like yourself who thought they played basketball at a decent level. that was there. And I remember now the first time I met you, because you're so big and 6'3", 6'4", like 25 stones. Oh no, maybe cut a few pounds off back then. You were naturally big on the court and that type of stuff, but you weren't the most coordinated of basketball players out there. And I remember, I think I was going for a layup, one of my wild 200 miles an hour layups, and I think you like swatted me like a fly and knocked me down, and I got up with my hot head and wanted to try and fight you. So I was like, this guy, I need to fight this guy. Being a little young hothead. And I think you looked at me and said, I could probably kill this guy with my little finger, but I like his spirit. and we clicked after that, became friends after that because of that. And I think that's what basketball back in the days, especially places like North London College, that community center for a lot of people. It brought a lot of people from different walks of life together. People, as I said, after 40 years, I still know, and I've still speak to every now and again through social media and things like this, because we've all moved and gone off to our different ways. But yeah, that's how we first met, North London College, playing basketball. The immovable force and the person myself who thought he could be a force.
Yeah, well, just remember, I remember one game when we went up to somewhere far north, and I had my
fly. That was up in Blackpool or something like this.
And
That was a National League game.
That was a National League game, and I was killing it. I just want to say that to everybody.
He was. They actually you were so good when they did a newspaper article about the game. They put someone else's name because they couldn't believe it was you.
And I didn't mind. It was good, man. It was good because they had my picture. So cool.
Yeah, true. They had your picture, but someone else's name.
But yeah, I mean, Ian, we got to go quick because there's so much stuff to do. So there's basketball, North London. That was like a Camden Town, Jimmy Polo, all the musical artists. Your foray in. I mean, I went to France to see you perform. Do you remember that?
Wow. Yeah. I think you were. Where is it? I think you were working in Amsterdam or Holland at the time. I was doing my gig. It was for the record label I'd signed to in France, and it was like, oh, I'm not too far away. Holland or Netherlands is not too far from France. I think you jumped on a plane, like last plane, and landed, and then came straight to the nightclub where we were performing just to hang out. But yeah, those are the fun days of being signed to a record label. And I mean, it wasn't my main love, but it was something I could do. And it was an experience traveling around the world, being number one in Japan, or traveling around France, and traveling to Nigeria, performing with Soul to Soul and things like this. And this was all during the mid-90s. As well as doing that, I was still playing basketball and still bartending in the bar, because there was no social media as a distraction. So I had all the other things as a distraction as in real life. But yeah, it was good. It was good fun. But yeah, those are good memories.
I mean, the story about the bartending is quite interesting because you, it has been said you're quite bright. So you did, you did have a few offers to go to university, but you turned that down. Why is that?
Yeah, I turned it down. I mean, I was supposed to go to, actually, one of my A-levels was with theatre studies, drama school, and I should have gone to Central School of Drama of Acting down in North London, which is one of the top drama schools. But when I started working in the bar, all the things I wanted to do and were happening. Love performing, so I got to perform behind the bar. Love chemistry, so all my alcohol was my compound. Sorry, all my alcohol was my elements, and all my cocktails were my compounds. So I had that there, making drinks up. And I got to perform, as I said, every day. And more importantly, as a person who came from a poor background, I started making money. And I was like, wow, I'm getting money for making drinks and having fun and things like this. So I didn't really feel I needed further education as such. In fact, I was getting further education in life. So that's the reason why I didn't go to university, or I didn't go to further education after my A-levels. I came out with 2 A-levels and 8 O-levels as such. So once I pushed myself, I knew I could achieve. I didn't want to waste the time going to university. In my sense, I didn't want to waste my time going to university, because I knew I could learn off of life. So yeah, so I was very lucky. Right place, right time, opportunity and execution to get there.
In fact, you were a bartender at Arizona's.
Yep, Arizona. Yeah, that was my first big job. Arizona in Camden Town, again in the 90s. Again, it was like a hub for creative talent. That's where we got to meet people like Jimmy Polo, one of the best songwriters I've ever met. He taught like Adamski to do songs. He was supposed to sing with Seal, but Seal's voice was better. He was signed to Ministry of Sound, but a great songwriter. Even today, he's writing scores for movies. Just did the Drazen Petrovic movie, where he did the score, and he played Drazen Petrovic's manager. Looks nothing like him, but he played Drazen Petrovic, one of the greatest Croatian basketball players of all time, who sadly passed away in the 90s. But yeah, we met all the other artists, whether it be music, whether it be entertainment, all coming into Arizona, that hub, just because they enjoyed a drink and a cocktail. So yeah, really enjoyed being part of that circle.
Well, being part of the circle, you like joined the circle. I remember one time I had a friend come from the United States when I was doing that, and you were hosting a rap group. Which rap group was it? In
Arizona?
No, on just off Regent Street.
Oh wow! Now you're going back into memory banks now. I'm trying to remember.
It was
I've worked with a few rap groups. I mean, we had House of Pain doing Jump Around. Who else? We had Guy. Some of the, unless you got an older audience, they wouldn't know some of these bands.
What I told my friend, I said, my friend Ian, my good friend Ian, is running this event, massive rap extravaganzas, and I'll be able to get us in. So we'll go there, and I'm standing in the queue, and I thought, I don't like this queuing stuff because it was a huge queue. And I'm not queuing in. So I phoned Ian. Don't forget, he's running an event, and I phoned him, and he answered the phone. So what's happening? Because I'm outside this thing, and I need to get in. He goes, okay, and the phone went dead. I thought, well, I'm not going in tonight. And some guy came around, took me in the back. I can't remember the name of this place. Went through the backstage. And this American guy, my client, he was like, wow, this is amazing. And we went past the rappers.
Wait a minute. I think I remember. I was performing. I was at Ministry of Sound.
Yeah, there's Ministry of Sound.
I was on stage. Yeah, wow. Yeah, I was on stage. I forgot about that. Yeah, see, again, all these things.
There's so much stuff.
Yeah, I was on stage at Ministry of Sound, and there were a few other acts performing at that time, because that was connected to when we did the Soul to Soul event. So I think Soul to Soul performing as well, Karen Wheeler. When we did the Soul to Soul event in Africa, in Nigeria, sorry, in '96, as such. But yeah, now I remember now.
Yeah, it was for me. It was amazing because I got the most props from that. Anyway, let's kind of move forward because there's so much. We'll have to skip over the amazing events that happened in Arizona because that could be actually we'll have legal problems if we actually discussed all those. So we better move forward now. So, one more thing is you met the brand ambassador for Ray & Nephew.
Yes.
And you developed there's another bit before that. For a short while, we had a restaurant in
the melting pot. Yeah, we used to have a little restaurant down in I think it was just about late 90s down in Richmond. I think it was Richmond. Isheen,
we were in Time Out magazine.
Yeah. I think it was a little bit ahead before our time, because if it was open today, it'd be one of the top Caribbean restaurants, probably in London.
I remember when you brought the idea to me with Jimmy. We won't go there. We won't go time, but you brought the idea to me, and so I said, yeah, that's really good. And we hadn't decided where it was going to be, and we decided we didn't want to have this African Caribbean restaurant in Brixton or. I said, well, where are you going to put it then? And Ian says, I want it in Putney. At that time, it was amazing. African Caribbean restaurants in the 90s in High Street, Putney.
Yeah,
that was just whoa. That was a mind blow. But we want everything. People used to queue up to be in it. Yeah. And I remember the one thing that was amazing was before the smoking ban came around, we had rastas and people, everybody there, and they would put their cigarettes out before they came to the restaurant.
Correct. Yeah. Because they were paying homage to it, and they realized the effort we put behind it.
Nice, really nice. Anyway, but moving forward, because we've got so much packed in there. But how did the Ray & Nephew?
Yeah, well, that came about. Again, as I said, a place like Arizona was a hub for creative talent, and one of the regular customers, was the marketing manager and advertisement manager for Kiss FM. He's always coming there, a guy named Paul Castro, I think you might remember. It's always come inside there. And so they were looking for someone to do a voiceover, because of my acting background, I needed someone to do a voiceover. Needed someone to do an old Jamaican man's voice, and then some young youth from London in the same skit. And I said, yeah, man, I can do that. So he invited me down to Kiss FM to do the advert. And the advert was for Appleton Jamaica Rum. And so I did that. They felt it was really good. Actually, from that, I got my voiceover career from that. But then another career. But then the general manager of Ray & Nephew UK, Jamaica Rum UK, had just launched in the UK. This was their first venture into marketing and advertisement on radio. They said, oh, you work in a bar and you're Jamaican. Can we come down and see you? And next thing you know, they were offering me a part-time job as a brand ambassador, as in to promote their product, have a bartender talk to other bartenders. So I became the first rum brand ambassador in the UK. And that developed over the years, where I started getting a little bit of name for myself, more notoriety, started traveling around the world. And while I was sitting on a plane on the way back from New Zealand a few years later, after answering as many questions as I could, but not answering all of them, to the bartenders, I said, right, there needs to be a go-to person to talk to that people can learn about rum. This is before the internet, well, before social media and things like that. And I said, well, why not me? And that's when I decided I'm going to be that rum person that people come to and ask about rum, the category of rum. And ever since then, I've immersed myself into the whole history of rum, where it was in the past, where it is today, and where it's going in the future. And what I do is tell those stories and bring that to life. And that's how I became or became known as the global ambassador for rum, which is a title I gave myself. So I gave myself my own job, and I'm still the only person on the planet that does that, that calls himself or is the global ambassador for rum 20 years later.
Brilliant, fantastic. And you, within this period, I mean, there's so much I'd love to go back to. We just don't have the time. Maybe when you turn up on the 6th of September,
we can do a live talk.
Talk to people about what we're talking about. And what's really, really important is this hasn't been all smooth sailing by any stretch of imagination.
No.
What you've learned along the way is how to cope with this pressure. And I'm looking at your travel schedule. That alone is pressure. Not the fact that you've got to do the events, pour the drinks, the restaurant stuff. You just had your hand, your fingers, your foot in so many pies. It's incredible how you cope with that and got this performance. So in that mix, and there's so much to talk about, let's just talk about what you do on Sundays now to rest.
On Sundays, well, I mean, it depends on which Sunday it is, but I mean, I regularly do a TV show.
I regularly do a TV show.
It's not every Sunday because, again, I probably wouldn't be able to be pinned down, but I'm very fortunate for the last, say, 13 years to be on a show called Sunday Brunch on Channel 4. Recently, in the last couple of years, 2 years, I'm on ITV in a show called Love Your Weekend with Alan Titchmarsh. And all I do is go on there and I talk about rum and cocktails and how to use them in certain ways. So very similar to like the celebrity chefs, I'll be the celebrity bar person or rum person to talk about my experiences with rum. And all I'm doing is sharing those ideas, because I feel once you've taken on an idea and you've learned about it, you need to share it. Because I know they say that knowledge is power. Never believe that. It's always been the use of knowledge is power. So once you've learned all that, you need to then use it and pass it on to someone else. So that's what I do on these shows. I work with various different rum brands. I go on ITV, and that's pre-recorded. Channel 4 is live, so it's a little bit more more of a challenge because it's live. You have to always remember your P's and Q's and things like that, and forget that there's like 750,000 people watching the show as such. But yeah, again, it's just part of the Ian Burrell Rum Ambassador brand by doing that. But that's all come from networking, being in the right place, the right time, and being confident enough to execute once you get that chance and that position to show people what you can do. And some people might call it luck, but as I always say, luck is just opportunity, execution, and that confidence to actually do what you can do.
That confidence to try and beat up a big black man on the basketball court when you
there you go. But I hadn't prepared. Your preparation. I hadn't prepared. I hadn't done enough. I hadn't done enough martial arts, and you were a boxing champion inside the army.
But I just want to touch quickly on two things, if you don't mind. One is on your new rum brand,
yes,
and also your book or books. I'm not sure where we are right now.
Yeah,
just talk a little bit about that, and then we can talk about the event.
Yeah, sure. So in regards to rum brands, I used to have a rum brand called Equiano, as you know, and that was a concept that I invented as in an African Caribbean rum, because there'd never been an African Caribbean rum, as in a rum that is a blend of rums from the African continent and the Caribbean region. So wanted to create a brand like that. And that was to pay homage to a mentor of mine, someone who I never met, a guy named Aludo Equiano, who was the first African to write a book on memoirs that was actually accepted by society during the 18th century. And that book went on to help with the 1806 Transatlantic Slave Act that the UK Parliament actually ratified to abolish the people trafficking of enslaved Africans. So that's why he's so powerful. And you'll see lots of different reasons or lots of different connections to his name, Equiano, whether it's Google using their fiber optic lines going from Europe to Africa, whether it's you're seeing the bridge in Cambridge University being renamed Lauda Equiano Bridge because his wife was born in Cambridge, where you've seen statues in South London. So I wanted to pay homage to him and again bring that story to life. Unfortunately, I picked the wrong business partners, and one of them, one of them particularly felt the need to use her connections in trademark law to actually register the name in her own company as opposed to our company. So there was a bit of a dispute, and then I left the company because I wasn't allowing anyone to use my name to prosper. And now, unfortunately, the brand is pretty much no more for now. But of course, Equiano's name is bigger than the actual rum brand. But again, I'm always positive. That was a learning process for me, learning what not to do for the next time. And now, instead of actually having my own brand, I'm doing a lot more consultancy where I'm actually creating brands for other people. And the recent one I've just done is for the Rolling Stones. Just created a brand called Crossfire Hurricane, which tells the story of the Rolling Stones in Jamaica when they lived there in the 70s, and then did an album and immersed themselves in Jamaica culture when they had to leave England because they owed too much money. So they had to leave England and no one would take them. So Jamaica said, yeah, man, come true. So that's that new brand, and that's going great. And I said,
who else is involved in Crossfire?
So, I mean, it's actually owned by two sets of people. You got a company called Kite Drinks. They're the ones who hired me as a co-founder. And then you have Mick Jagger and Keith Richards, who are the owners of the brand, Universal Records. So they signed
drop that in. Drop that in. Mick Jagger and Keith Richards. He's running the brand for them.
So I again, I'm a consultant for them and that type of stuff. And the great thing about that is I get pretty much full creativity of the blends that we go in there. And part of my narrative as an ambassador for rum is to promote Caribbean rums, especially rums from countries where they're fighting for their geography, their identity. Jamaica is one of those countries. So this is a Jamaica rum, just the same way as it has rules and regulations to make a cognac or an Irish whiskey or a Scotch or tequila. Jamaica now has that. It just needs to be recognized. And Crossfire Hurricane is one of those rums that will be part of that fight. So that's what I do now. I'm working more on government levels where we're trying to create geography in or geographical indications.
Sorry to keep cutting you. I'm trying to pack a lot into this.
Oh, sure.
Tell me a little bit about being a master rum blender.
I wouldn't call myself a master rum blender by far. I don't know why people would say that, but
isn't there a lady in Jamaica?
Yeah, Dr. Joy Spence. Dr. Joy Spence. She was the first female spirit blender, as in master blender to that title, by Appleton Jamaica Rum back in 1998, I think it was. So I work with her. She's like again an inspiration, a mentor for me, as such. But yeah, she's another great Jamaican out there as a little tiny island that's gone out and promoted and basically shown what we look about with Taliwa, what it really means. I've gone out. She does the same thing when it comes to not only rums but spirits. But yeah, very fortunate to get to work.
What was that phrase again? You said it quite fast for those of us who aren't bilingual.
We lick with Taliwa. We might be small, but we punch above our weight. We're strong. Okay,
swiftly moving on to your books.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, book. You've been beating me up for the last 30 odd years to do a book, and I've been like, yeah, soon come, man, soon come. So finally, I wrote my first book, my first rum book, I should say. Came out about a year and a half ago. It's been going really well. It's actually now been translated into German and Italian as well. So that's with DK. DK, who are one of the biggest publishers in the world. Yes, Penguin, I think they're owned by Penguin as such. So yeah, so that book's about the history of rum. It also talks about a systematic approach to tasting rum, giving people examples of what glassware to use. Also talks about the culture of rum, which is important because there aren't any rum books that really talk about the culture of rum. And more importantly, there aren't any rum books written by Caribbean people as such. So this is one of the first. So it's definitely going well, but I'm going to do like a reiteration. I'm going to add more to it and do a second edition. And I'm also writing a new one at the moment. Once I get a spare 30 days, which will probably be in December, I'll be finishing my second book or third book to boot.
Okay, thank you so much. I mean, we could, ladies and gentlemen, we have skimmed over this man's talents and what he's done. We haven't talked about so much, but I want to talk about mental health to
Mhm.
mental wealth, our event that's coming up.
Mhm.
And I want to talk about when you turn up,
Mhm.
you'll be bringing along some things, which maybe copies of the book.
Yeah, sure. Yeah,
Maybe
100%. Yeah,
some little samples of rum for us.
I'm sure we can bring some rums if people want to have a partake in a taste.
For those of us who well, I don't drink it. I don't drink anymore. I don't drink any less, but I don't drink anymore. So tell us about this idea of coming through trials and tribulations and using that as an asset to go forward, which is what mental health and mental wealth is about, the event.
Yeah. I mean, for me, it's understanding exactly where you are in life as such. I mean, I've had a lot of trauma growing up, especially as a young kid. As such, the situation that I grew up in, the people that were around me and that type of stuff. And that could really break a lot of people. I was very fortunate to have people like yourself, strong people around me to be that anchor, to help me focus on the things I need to do. My dad wasn't around as such, so I looked for father figures around. Now, it's not easy for everyone to do that, but once you do have a plan to actually help you structure yourself and keep yourself grounded and not be distracted by certain things that may lead you astray, then it becomes easier. Never easy, but easier. And that's how I've applied myself right throughout life. So I always use things that have happened to me that might be negative or is traumatic as experiences, as learning experiences. I have to learn from those experiences, and that's what's helped me move forward. Even with, for example, the company that we had with the rum company, and the tragedy, as everyone kept to me, oh, I can't believe it's gone, it's blah blah blah. I'm like, listen, that was a learning experience for me. If I don't learn from this, then I've failed. Yeah, not them. I'm not worried about those guys. I failed. I need to take from that and learn from that, and then move forward and use that experience so it doesn't happen again. And that keeps my mind focused in the way I have, and the way I need to move forward. The other thing is always have my boys, my Ys as well. So when I see them, I want them to be better than me. So I refuse to lose because of them. Just because they see me as their superhero. I love superheroes as such. So I need to succeed for them. So I break a cycle, because I never had that as much for my close family growing up. But now I'm making sure that they have that and they can pass it on to their kids and my down lineage as such. So yeah, in regards to why some people feel, well, you're mentally strong about certain things. I still cry. I still feel lost in certain situations. But when you can stop and then say, when you can stop and say, right, you know what? Let's just focus. Let's just see where I am. Let's just see where I was, but now where I need to be. Then that helps. So you do need to stop, take time, look at yourself, maybe subjectively, and then move forward. So that's what I do. That works for me, and I try and share that with as many people as possible that want to listen.
Okay, that's fantastic. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is Ian Burrell, the global ambassador, and we haven't had time to talk about Scrabble. And there's so many things we could talk about, and we won't talk about Scrabble, definitely.
Yeah, it's true.
6th of September, Moseley Rugby Club, the Reading Suite. You need to be there. It's going to be a fantastic event. And we've got some fantastic people like Ian, like Dwayne, like Dame Beverly, Lindsay. It's going to be awesome. Please get your tickets and see us there.
Yeah. And you'll see me in my normal hat. I'm undercover today.
Okay. Thank you very much, Ian. Thank you so much.
No problem.
You can have the last word.
Well, life's too short. Smile and enjoy yourself.